What up, what up, what up? Hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. Hey, I just want to let you know, I know everybody can't always support and donate to the podcast, but hey, if you can do a one-time donation, I put up a Buy Me a Coffee link in this description of the podcast. So if you go to the description of the podcast, it'll be at the bottom, and you can just go to that link, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, or two if you want. And that would just help support the show, and I can wake up a little bit more and bring you more info. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you can donate, that would be much appreciated. And let's get on to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. So tonight I wanted to talk to you guys about a really interesting revelation that Randy Kramer, who is basically the spokesperson for the Mars Defense Force now, has come out stating in one of the most recent episodes of Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia that there is a false flag alien invasion coming soon. When is soon? Well, they stated that there is going to be one that happens during World War III, which apparently we're already in the middle of with Russia and the Ukraine. Now you can say whatever you want. Maybe you say, I don't believe we're in World War III, it's just Russia and Ukraine. Maybe that changes, right? Maybe there's some stuff that we don't know. These guys are on the inside and we're not. But what he did state, what I thought was really interesting, was that he stated that the alien invasion isn't going to be the Greys, it's not going to be the Draconians, it's going to be a species that has been, as of recently, have been taught to us that they're working with our government, that they're peaceful, that they actually assist in surgeries, that they're kind, they're wise, and then there have been some abduction stories that kind of paint these guys as the bad guys, and they do some pretty painful experiments on humans. They're known as the mantids. They're known as the praying mantis type, insectoid type aliens. And you gotta wonder, right? Which side are these guys on? I've read alien abduction stories where they said they run some of the most painful experiments, although these beings do try to comfort them by putting their hand on their head and telling them, hey, everything's going to be okay. And then they, through their telepathy and their telekinetic capabilities, their psionic capabilities, they're able to assist these individuals in calming down, being more relaxed, being more peaceful. So what are these guys the bad guys? Emery Smith states that he worked hand in hand with these beings. He stated that they were a bit rigid, but they were very, very spiritual and very knowledgeable. And when they started to work on these beings that he was working on, they flashed rainbow light across their face. They were in deep thought. They were able to talk, or to communicate with us telepathically, and even bring some individuals' brains back from the dead, which is pretty interesting. So the question is, are these beings going to come and create a false flag operation? Why would they do that to us? And the answer he gave kind of perplexed me, but, in all honesty, there's so much to this I don't always know about. I mean, none of us do. He stated that the Schwabereiners, the Nazis that actually are living on Mars and other planets that have taken over vast swaths of actually the solar system, are putting these praying mantis insectoids up to this in a contract. They're contractors, and they've contracted them to have a alien or false flag alien invasion so that they can come down and take power over the Earth. Which you got to wonder at some point, it's like, how does this all make sense? How would an alien invasion help the Nazis from Mars assist them in taking over the planet? Well, if we don't have the technology to stop them, and they have some sort of crazy technology that they can use to basically dominate us for a while, and the Nazis can come in and save the day and use their technology to, brainwash us as well, then they would have a clear advantage, right? We would be basically at the mercy of either the mantis-like beings or the Nazis. And so that's something to think about. I know our own government has our own secret weaponry, and they can defend, right? Even Randy Kramer states that we can defend ourselves too. But if for some reason these guys do come down and they're contracted and they come down and freak us out, imagine some humongous bug army just walking down your street. He stated that the amount of panic that would create would basically just freeze everyone, and they wouldn't be able to run. They wouldn't know what to do. They would be like, am I supposed to be friends with this thing? Am I supposed to run? Do I get my guns? In America anyway. And basically there's no way we would be able to fight against a species that can use mind control to stop us from doing things. And these things are way too big anyway. They're way too strong. They're way too powerful. We would be dominated. So you have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. Let's say these things come down. They they create this false alien invasion. They take over the Capitol. They take over the president. They take over Congress and every country. And they say, if you don't obey what we say, we're going to just wipe you all off the map with maybe a virus that we have or something else. And you're going to be gone. We're going to take the planet anyway. And when they all imprison us, all of us, then theoretically any species could have control over the planet and we would just be their prisoners. Could this happen? Sure. I mean, they can abduct us at will. So could they control us at will? 100%. All they got to do is use their frequency or whatever they use to abduct people, and it's a wrap. I mean, if you listen to my last podcast where I was talking about Coyote Canyon, they put this guy into 1,000-pound stuck position. He felt like there was 1,000 pounds on him. His body weighed thousands of pounds. He couldn't move at all. He was awake, but he couldn't move. Imagine if they used that kind of frequency on us, on a bunch of us, right? A whole population, a whole city population. They would have total reign, total control over you, your family, your children, your wife, your husband, and it would be a wrap. So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I'm just talking from a military standpoint. How do you fight something like that? And I'm not necessarily a military strategist by any means. But I think it's, in the long run game here, what's the end game? If the government wants to keep human civilization alive, they got to start telling us about these alien species so that we can become used to them, learn about them, find out who's trouble, and all be on the same page so that we can report it. Just like in a regular civilization, if you see somebody going around kidnapping people, you can report it to the government or you can report it to your police officers so that these guys can get tracked down. These guys can be dealt with if we can deal with them, right? Maybe we need to be trained on how to fight these things as a civilization, even if you're not in the military. Hey, these are their weak points. This is how you can protect yourself and your family. These are some simple things you can do. If the government can't give us everything we need to fight them, at least they can give us some tips on how to fight them. Maybe they can't give us all the equipment. Maybe they don't want to give us all kinds of weapons and that kind of thing. That's okay, but at least they can tell us how to fight back. So I think it's really interesting. It's something to look into. It's an interesting story. I don't know if I believe it, but Randy Kramer's come up with some really interesting stories in the past, and they've been double verified by different people, especially the Gaia Network. They do their due diligence. The one thing that could change, or at least change a little bit of this war scenario, or this false flag invasion or real alien invasion, is that the manner with which it starts. It could be that there is some sort of army that starts marching down different streets. The ships could come in in mass, or they could send in these like insectoid like drones at the beginning to dominate first, and then they could send in their insectoids to strike fear into the human populace and kind of enslave them. So something to think about. Kind of glad to live in America where, at least we have some weapons we can defend ourselves with. You know, Sorry the rest of you guys gave up your weapons, but, that's something that, happens in different countries. So, learn ways to defend yourself if needed, man. Learn survival skills, learn ways to protect yourself, your family, your loved ones, because, if there are any, we need to be taught what they are, and maybe this is why we're getting a little bit of disclosure, and maybe, just maybe, we can save our human race in case there is a false flag invasion, and maybe the government can tell us about that and warn us about that, or maybe I'm just living a fantasy dream, and the government's never going to tell us, and it's part of their plan. Anyway, what do you guys think? Hopefully I gave you a little bit or enough to chew on for tonight. It's an interesting story. It's one of the most recent cosmic disclosures, so something to think about. Hope it doesn't happen. I hope that we get to continue to live a relatively peaceful life without an alien invasion, and that you guys continue to enjoy your lives and your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Stay safe. Protect yourself. Protect your spirit. Protect your health. Protect your emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Do that by taking care of yourselves. Staying positive. Creating that white light. Getting exercise. Taking care of what you eat. Look at what you eat. Stay in shape. That helps your mentality. Continue to be creative in your hobbies, your goals, and your dreams. Teach your children, teach your grandchildren, teach your friends how to do some of these hobbies that you're astute at. You have the capability to teach people different skills that you have. Everyone has their own skills. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Till next time, guys, take care. Lockdown Universe out.